Guys, hey guys, Griffin here. Been a long time since I was able to connect with you. Haven't gone live in a long time. I got my guy Ben here at LC Financial Group, who I've recently been with in the Medicare and life insurance space. One of the cool things that I've been doing for the last 4 years, almost 5 years, is been in the life insurance business, and it's been very interesting because I never thought I would find myself in the insurance industry, but I did always hear a lot about it, and I always shied away from it. I never really wanted to look into it or check it out, but I was selling final expense, mortgage protection, and whole life policies and term policies for quite a while, and had helped over 2,000, close to 2,000 families, I would say, in that business. And
Nice.
then decided to come over and join these guys at LC Financial Group. And I just wanted to introduce to you guys Ben, who's one of the senior executives at LC Financial Group. Ben, if you'd like to say a few things about yourself.
Yeah, thanks, Griffin. Basically, as Griffin said, I'm a senior executive at LC Financial Group. I've been with the company since the beginning of the year. I actually didn't have any background whatsoever in any sort of insurance, actually. So my background went into sales, it went into real estate, building teams, helping people, and that's actually how I ended up working at LC Financial Group. Was the owner and CEO, shout out to Ryan Lodi. He gave me the opportunity to come out here and just put my effective knowledge and experience to work with building up teams. I know how to help people. I know how to communicate well with people. I know how to find, their inner beast. I know how to help them tap into their potential, get the most out of them, and put them in an environment that actually helps them thrive and helps them succeed with whatever it is that they're trying to accomplish. And so it doesn't really matter whether it's insurance or real estate, at least from my role. It just has to do with understanding people and making sure that there is a system and there are methods of communication in place in the organization so that everyone can thrive, everyone can understand how to do their job, how to get the most of it, and how to continue to grow, which is actually one of the most important things I want to cover today, because we all kind of want to go into a position where we can continue to grow. And sometimes we get lost and we get hooked into an idea of comfort, and we think that comfort comes with staying in one spot or having the same job and the same pay. And the thing is that I think the main reason anybody would get into insurance, which I'm sure you can agree, Griffin, is that there's an unlimited opportunity with your income and how much money you can actually make. And it all comes down to how much effort you put into it, which, a lot of people might think that that's scary, and a lot of people might be, interested in doing something like that because they know that they work hard. So that's pretty much, some of my background. And I hope that if anyone has any questions for me, they would like to know more about whatever I do for the company, they can ask me, they can contact me through you if that's okay.
Yeah.
And then honestly, today we just want to dive into some key points of why LC Financial Group for Griffin Henderson, someone who's established himself in final expense, in the last couple of years, is definitely a very, very active and effective agent. I'm sure if he shared some of his stats and numbers with you guys can track and know that he's definitely up there with, the most productive people that he's been a part of in the past, right? So now he has an opportunity to lead from the front and set the pace for other people and show them that you can come into a new part of insurance and still crush it. And that's what we're going to cover now. Just go over a couple of different things. So Griffin, if you had any questions for me, I think you could definitely lead the way. Go ahead and ask me whatever it is that you want to know.
For sure. And people can definitely reach out to me, and then I can put them into contact with you. They can talk to both of us. We have a pretty good system here where it comes to connecting people with the right people, just to kind of get them onboarded or get them the information they want about the company. But the main purpose, obviously, to make people familiar. And so I guess one of the first questions I had was Ben, why would somebody specifically want to come work here at LC Financial Group? Maybe they sell life insurance somewhere else. Maybe they've been a life insurance agent. Maybe they've thought about getting into the insurance space. Maybe they worked at State Farm and they sold car insurance, which is completely different. They had a property and casualty license. There's so many different avenues you can be in, and it's such a huge industry, and everybody that we know, including you and me, we both have multiple insurance policies. And everyone has some sort of insurance. Why LC Financial Group?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's an awesome question because honestly, I tell people like do your homework and find the place that's a good fit for you. And I think the main reason why LC Financial Group was the destination for me and why I've stuck around and made it my home is the opportunity, right? Like the opportunity to continue to create something where I'm the person that's making it happen, right? And what I mean by that is that the leadership in the company is very much about the well-being of the individuals as much as it is about the well-being of the company, right? So we are very founded on the basis of you have to be able to take care of your agents, your producers, because they're the ones that are going to take care of you, right? So we are very strong and passionate about our hiring process too, right? Obviously, like the doors are open for everyone and anyone, but we do pride ourselves in hiring people of a specific character. Like we want people that are, you know, self-sufficient, and we want people that are willing to, you know, do what they have to do to get to where they need to be or want to be, right? When we have someone like that, they thrive. You know, it's like we're not cut out to hold hands. You know, this is a place for people that are able to take, you know, kind of like a blueprint and run with it, right?
Yeah.
If you're brand new, I mean, maybe eventually, I'm just being completely transparent, we'll be able to dive into something like that, helping someone like that, right? But right now, it's like we are so set up for someone that's ready to plug and play. If you have experience in sales, if you have experience in insurance, you're definitely, you know, one step ahead of everyone else if you got your foot through the door on that side. But it's just the fact that we're so committed to making sure that you have everything you need to succeed, and that includes, you know, lead generation for you, making sure that you have your dialer, your CRM, that you're plugged in, you're ready to go. So it's, like I said, it's just the opportunity to continue to scale, grow, and there's always opportunity to increase or dive into other areas.
Right.
Right. It's just we're such a new and growing company, and I'm not afraid to say that because, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, but I'd rather go to this place that has been here for a lot longer. That might be the right fit for you. They can hold your hand. You know, they can do something like that for you, but you know, there isn't that same kind of initiative or drive that you can have when you're in a group that's doing everything it has to do to survive and to grow.
Yeah.
And when you're a part of something like that, it's special. It adds a lot of value.
Absolutely. That's actually a really good point. I didn't really expect that I would probably want to ask you this next thing or say this next thing, but you see a lot of companies where they've been around for like 50 years. I mean, you know, some of them, you know, a lot of insurance companies have been around 100, 150 years, but a lot of insurance companies, you know, unless they're like State Farm, and even them, I think they have independent franchisees. So you can open your own State Farm office if you meet the requirements, just like any franchisee would have to meet with any chain of restaurants or businesses. But my point is that, like, you have a company that's established, that's been around for maybe 20 years, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, who knows how long. But our company, I would say, is a few years old, which is pretty cool because, you know, just with like a guy like Ryan, working with Ryan, there's a really awesome background with him personally that is something that I look to as, you know, you look at a producer in the industry, and if you just look at the numbers, he's been one of the top producers in the country with his final expense numbers.
Right.
You know, anyone in our space that helps people with Medicare, helps people with their medical benefits when they're retired, on disability, Social Security, you name it, we help those individuals. But like someone who has that background in final expense, we could probably agree that it's a little bit more difficult to help somebody get a life insurance policy, because sometimes it seems like a nice to have instead of a must have.
Right.
Versus the medical, everyone's going to have the medical, everyone's going to have their medical insurance before anything else. That's a priority, and they're all going to get it automatically in this country.
Yeah.
With the way that the government set up those benefits. Not to go on that so much as I want to say that we're in a unique position because sometimes it is about timing when you join a company. Like if you would have joined Southwestern Bell before they were purchased by, I think, AT&T, if you were in Southwestern Bell in like 1920, you know, maybe that would have been a good time to be a key executive.
Yeah.
You know, also same thing, like you got some companies that are new, like maybe Walmart in the 60s or 70s would have been like a great place to become today what would be a COO of Walmart.
Right.
Or an executive of Walmart. So the thing that I find unique about our company that I haven't really mentioned is that we are in kind of early.
Yeah.
But we're not necessarily in it day one, but we're in within the first few years. So we have a few years behind us.
Right.
The future looks bright.
Right.
We're with very reputable companies.
Right.
We should probably mention Innovative Financial Group,
Absolutely.
who we're a part of, right? And who, let's just say it out loud, was recently purchased by Humana.
By Humana, exactly.
You're
doing something right if you're being purchased by
yeah,
by Humana.
right. And the Inc. 5,000 companies in America, 5,000 small businesses, fastest growing.
Yeah.
They're in the top 100. I don't know the exact number, below 80, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty impressive, and they're about 10 years old.
Right.
And we're on one of the best teams within that organization.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know where we rank, but I'm sure it's very high, within that group. I'd like to find out, but
Yeah.
it doesn't matter to me, quite honestly, because we have such a great team in place.
Exactly.
The sky's the limit.
Exactly. And I was gonna touch on that a little bit more, which is I'm glad that you brought that up. And what I was gonna say is that opportunity is the reason why I joined, right? The reason that I became part of the team was because I saw the opportunity, and it was something I'd never done. Like I went from doing real estate to just jumping into this and being an executive, running people, building up the teams, and increasing production. Mm-hmm. And that hasn't stopped. The production has increased and continued to increase since I've been working here month by month. The stats show it. So awesome. It's awesome, and I like that opportunity. It's like some people do like that, like again, that comfort of plugging into something that's already running, like a running concern, and everything's perfect. Fine, cool.
Yeah.
However, I like that you mentioned that there are these other companies. They all started where we're starting from.
That's true.
And the idea that you can just plug in with people that are going to back you up and help you, it's also fun, man. It gets fun. It's great to see that you're making something valuable that can give opportunity not just to the people we service and serve, this is 65 and older, and in some cases, the people that have a disability, but providing for the people that join our team. Taking care of our guys means we're taking care of, the client, the end user, right? So it's just, it's super cool. It's very motivating to see that you can build something new. It's like, I like that. I prefer that. So
yeah,
I definitely feel like this was a right fit for me in that regard.
Right.
I know that some people sometimes they're waiting for the next best thing, or they, maybe others might think that they're just chasing something better. But the thing is, sometimes we outgrow where we are, right? And I don't know about you, but it's happened to me even in an industry, right? Like I outgrew real estate. It was real estate is still very important to me. Obviously, I think that that's the best vehicle, in my opinion, to continue to grow your wealth.
Yeah.
Right. However, as a place for work and establishing and doing something that interests me, insurance is definitely, I think, the way to go, and that's why I've jumped in.
It's a bit of an easier start. It's interesting. In the past, I had some friends who did really well in the car business. Mm-hmm. And what was cool about the car business is sometimes people just kind of end up with that job that didn't really intend on it. But it's really cool because there is a great opportunity there. Like I have a friend right now who is from my hometown, who he's probably
Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Shout out to Oklahoma.
He's probably making more than most of the people that we both graduated from high school with, and we graduated from 2 different high schools in small towns.
Wow.
Just like, there's going to be people that do well, make 6 figures, things like that. But he's making $15,000 a month selling cars, and he's only been doing it for I don't even know if he's been doing it a year now. And to be honest with you, it's not like he was like the super popular kid, or that he was like, everybody knows who he is. I mean, sure, people our age know who he is, but people know my family. People know several people in my family in our area. He didn't have that advantage, which, I remember we had a storm that hit our town, and we had a guy in Oklahoma City about an hour away, the major city in Oklahoma with 1 million people in it. That's our biggest city. But it's 60 miles from my small town with 8,000 people.
Wow.
And it's just right there along I-35, which is I-95, but just way less crowded. Because I-95 is just crowded all the way through Florida. The whole time you're in some sort of city. So you're literally just going through cities with I-95.
Nice.
In Oklahoma, you see a lot of green grass and trees and cows and stuff.
Yeah, the difference is
pretty big difference. It's like driving through North Florida, instead of South Florida. But anyway, the point was just that I got that guy into some doors, you know, like we went down to Paul's Valley where I'm from, and we were able to, you know, he's like, hey man, I don't know anybody down there. People are a little bit weird when people from out of town come in to work a storm, because that's what happens when the storms happen, like tornadoes, wind damage, roofers, you see roofing trucks everywhere, and
Yeah.
this renovation company, and I mean, I swear, you drive in and just they're everywhere, like in this little town. So then he's like, dude, can you just get me into some homes? And I said, yeah. I never knocked doors before, but actually I had. But I went down there, just started knocking on doors, and I was like, hey, and I would always tell them like, hey, my name's Griffin, graduated from Wynnewood, you know, which is the next town over. They know that. And then just kind of tell them who I was, my name, and then like, do you know my grandfather? You know, and I would say, do you know who Cecil Henderson is? He's an 89-year-old still living down there in Pauls Valley. And it's a small town, so yeah, that name kind of sounds familiar. Or yeah, I know who that is. Or something, you know. and then I would just say, yeah, well, we're just here because, you know, obviously we got hit by the storm, and like there are a lot of things you can do to not have to go out of pocket on replacing your roof.
Yeah.
That's very valuable. Everyone owns their home in Pauls Valley. They're not really like many renters. Mm-hmm. So that was just kind of a way I stumbled into that. I was knocking on doors, and roofing. People know if you're a roofer, if you're in that business, like you can just step in and work hard as a 1099 independent contractor and make money.
Right. And
I found myself in the position of being in a corporate job for a Fortune 100 company, telecommunications. Mm-hmm. And I worked there. I did very well. I would get ranked within the entire nation. Went on a trip, paid for, you know, amazing opportunity. But I was looking above me, like, okay, what's the general manager making?
Right.
What's the regional manager making? What's the district, just the little district manager making? And I'm like, man, I'm gonna have to be here for 12, 15 years to break $200,000.
Wow. Yeah.
And if I'm lucky, like it's a very tight, and it's a lot of it is politics, and you're not necessarily being promoted on your numbers all the time. Sometimes it is politics.
Like who you know,
who knows you, what do they think of you? So I'm like, man, this company has hundreds of thousands of people, like 100,000 plus employees. So I need to be able to break through. So I kind of found myself at one point in time just stumbling into the insurance business, really just because I needed a job. And I'd been offered, hey, get your license, become an agent, you know, and I stepped into life insurance because the 50 and older, 55 and older to like 80 years old market kind of underserved, because a lot of insurance agents target the wealthiest individuals.
Right.
And so 90% of the agents that are out there are really going after the top 1%, but you don't really have a lot of people going after people that really need our help, which is the biggest generation in this country,
right,
which is our baby boomers, people born in the 40s, 50s, 60s, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, there's a couple generations in there, but you get the point. That's like 33+% or more of our entire country's population. And they have no idea about, you know, there's way less agents to help those people than there are those people. So
right,
we need to serve those individuals and help them get the most out of their benefits, especially with today's economy and the way things are going. There's really no cap at what we can make. Promotion is going to be based on your ability and what you create. Mm-hmm. So you're really creating a business. And a business, you know, if we look at like banks,
yeah,
banks own billions, tens of billions of dollars. Like Bank of America, Chase Bank, and Wells Fargo collectively own $60 billion with the B in life insurance.
Yeah.
And they own it from companies that are 150 plus years old. I didn't even know that, you know, certain companies like New York Life, 170-year-old company. Like there's a company, John Hancock, been around since the light bulb. Before the light bulb was created, that company was in existence. So didn't know that. I did not know that. There's one other company I didn't even mention. Their net worth is more than the country of Iran. And they're just one insurance company in America, and there's like hundreds of insurance companies.
Wow.
So I'm like, okay, so there's no shortage. There's no cap. I always was used to I grew up on a farm, so I was used to outworking people around me.
Yeah.
I was choosing to work when I was playing sports. It was either play sports or work. And chose to do the work. I actually didn't have to. I got the option to say, hey, just focus on school, focus on sports. You don't have to work. It's like, I have to work.
Yeah.
You know? And so I would do it on my own and miss out on a lot of stuff that my friends were doing on the weekends to work. But that hard blue collar labor, I was like, what if I put that same effort into a white collar job doing this, in an air conditioned room? I've always been able to communicate. I can continue to get better at communication.
Yeah.
And then helping other people, solve a problem that they reached out for. We're not cold calling. People requested the information. Unfortunately, sometimes they request it from more than one place, so they get bombarded. And so when you get over 65, we both know, everyone knows, you get a lot of calls.
Absolutely.
But you need the right person to call you, who's going to help you, who you can trust, who you know is going to do the right thing for your family, who's going to treat your family the way that they would treat their own family.
Yep.
And so that's really what we do in a nutshell, I think. But just the fact that there's no limitation to where you can grow and how you can expand. There are a couple of things that I mean, maybe we can touch on them. We can just kind of go rapid fire, just
sure. Yeah, that's
sake
actually what I was going to say too. Is like, if you want to we can bang out some of the questions and get some answers.
We'll run through it really quick. So, I have a few questions. I know we've covered quite a few of them. So we're not really. That's one thing I wanted to touch on, and maybe you can tell me. In fact, limited in what we can offer. So, one of the things that I wanted to mention was we're not limited in what we can offer.
Exactly. Like for you, why was it so important to come over here where you have so much more opportunity to, I guess, go into other potential products or services that you could offer? Yeah.
Great point. And to preface that, I want to give a little bit of background on that. So in life, we see people who jump ship all the time. I have had a lot of jobs, but I've got to experience a lot of wonderful things. There are some things that were pretty consistent for me. I did Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu consistently for 5 years. I did run classes. I had a job. I was a personal trainer. I did that for 5 years. That's pretty decent to do at a young age. I was in the military for 5 years. I went to college for 4 years. I was on varsity football, and I played 2 years of college. Played football for 10 years. So there were some consistent things in my life. But if you were looking at a resume about 5 or 6 years ago, you might say, why all the changes? Why are you changing so much? 24 or 25 years old, looking for opportunity, looking for where can I be for the next 30 years. Believe it or not, people my age, I'm 31 years old, want to be somewhere for a long time. But where's that going to be? Am I going to be limited where I'm at? If I would have been here 15 years ago, would that have been a better time? Maybe yes, maybe no. Usually things they're a little bit more hard in the beginning.
Yeah.
Because they get refined and perfected, where the average everyday guy can come jump into the opportunity and seize it. Like right now, I'll just be honest. My last company, they had a lot of great systems in place. Like if you wanted to go work there now, you just need to kind of know a little bit about the product. You need to be able to be willing to work hard, put the time in, and communicate with people. If you're willing to do those things, that's most of what you have to do. Be willing to make some calls to people who requested the information, have lots of conversations, and spend time learning about what we do. Just spend a little time every day learning and improving yourself.
Right.
You jump in there right now, everything you need from A to Z is like perfectly spelled out. I don't think it could get any easier than that. We come over here, we're a little bit newer. Our systems are being further refined and developed. We have some amazing things in place that a lot of people don't have.
Yeah.
But we can improve upon what we have, but we're more independent. We're more hands-on and hands-off.
Right.
We want someone who is self-sufficient, who doesn't need to be coddled, who doesn't need to be babysat. If you're that kind of person, because I know people at my other company that would not make it here.
Yeah.
Because their hand would not be held to the degree that it is there.
Right.
That's really the only reason why they wouldn't make it, is because they're not going to be coddled as much.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're the kind of person who can be self-sufficient and independent, the real reason what I was running into was that I could offer basically one product to 90% of my customers. Really one product. And master that one thing.
Right.
And do really well. There were people better, sure. but they also could commit more time if they wanted to. Everybody has their own problems. Everybody has their own challenges. But I had families asking me for things that I was licensed to offer them,
That you couldn't.
but I was contractually not allowed to through my company. I was not allowed to offer certain types of insurance that I am licensed to offer, but because it's just against the company's direction.
Sure.
And that's fine.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with
They're
that.
the
That's
best
just how
at
they
what
do
they
what they
do.
do. Yeah.
They are the best at what they do. There's probably nobody in the country better than what they do in that one area.
Right.
That's fine. We are approaching, if not one of the best, we are the best in the country at Medicare.
Yeah.
Right there. I mean, I don't see how anybody could be doing it better with what we have. But you can do both here.
Yeah.
You can do both.
Yeah. It's
And
like,
every one of my customers had both. So imagine you walk in and, you know, we just sell the body here to the car.
you got to go get your engines.
You got to go get the tires. You got to go get those. You got to get the engine. Let's just say the tires, because we'll sell you the body of the car.
Yeah.
But you got to go down to Hibdon's and buy those tires there. We just don't offer them. That's stupid.
Yeah.
When
It's a
you,
waste.
When you go to a car dealership, some companies would say, well, on the reverse side, from their viewpoint, well, it's hard to teach agents to do both. Sure, it is hard to teach people to do both at one time. Have them master one thing, and then they can bring on the next thing.
Right.
Too many people, and I hear this and it drives me crazy. If you're this person, it is what it is.
Sorry.
I'm a jack of all trades,
and a master of
none. And sometimes they'll say that, sometimes they won't admit it, but it's the truth. You're a jack of all, you're a handyman. You can do, maybe you're a master of home renovation. Maybe you should say that. Or maybe you're really not a master, you're just kind of okay at a lot of things, but never really great at anything.
Right.
Right? Not really a true professional. So
Exactly.
so come in here, do Medicare, because that's what we're driving. Medicare, that's the vehicle.
Exactly. How do you feel that Medicare will add value to your final expense side of life?
That's a great question. So when I've had clients that didn't want life insurance anymore. They're like, I'll just save the money. I mean, there are different types of people you're going to run into. Some of them are like, you know, why pay all that money to an insurance company and I'm just going to leave this money when I'm gone, and I could have saved that money, and if I needed it, I could have had it, but I was putting it into a policy. There's so many different ways to look at it. But to make a long story short, what I would tell that person is, when you have a client who you've helped truly added value to in a product or service, and you offer another thing that they want and need, and they have both of them with you,
Yeah.
you're looking at a client that you can be friends with for a lifetime.
Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned that, because I think sometimes people miss the point that when we're talking to these clients or potential clients, we have a duty to assist them and to help them. And no one's going to take care of that person as good as you are. You know what I mean? Like, when you find people, you know, agents such as yourself that are completely all in to helping other individuals, you know, becoming the best agent that you can so you can help them. It's kind of like you have your one arm tied behind your back if you can only offer them one thing, because then you have to tell them, sorry, Mr. Jones, you know, you're going to have to go ask someone else that you don't know to help you with that, and they might not actually help them.
It's true.
So
It's very true.
when you have the ability to say, hey, I'm going to take care of you, I'm your go-to for any of these needs,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a walk in the park, and it's the best thing for that person.
Yeah. And one thing I'm just going to outright talk about is it is more difficult. It's way more difficult today. I mean, I would say it's gotten harder over the years, but you innovate and you try to find ways to communicate with people, text message, email, phone call, social media, you name it.
Yeah.
They come through YouTube ads, Facebook ads, you know, I'm sure there's some other things like LinkedIn, but the point is that these people are getting bombarded with communication. Just like always, there's always been this mass communication,
Stream, just
commercials.
yeah.
I mean, right now there's
At
like
Walmart.
a side of a truck outside the window, you know?
Yeah.
You know, just it's we're being marketed to constantly.
Yeah,
I mean, we have
exactly.
brand logos on, like, you just got to choose where you want to be. But the point is, these guys are getting communicated to a lot. We don't talk about this enough. If I could just make one call and eliminate 3 other calls that they need to make, that is a huge service to people.
Yeah.
Like, and you know me, hey, this guy's going to do right by me. Everything he said he was going to do, he delivered on that.
Yeah.
He did what he said he was going to do when he said he was going to do it. He bent over backwards for me. He did things for me that other people wouldn't do. I can't tell you how many times I've had people tell me, you are the best agent I have ever spoken with. And that's not to toot my horn and be like, oh, I'm amazing, but it's just like when you care about the person, you overcome the barriers and the stops that they run into that are preventing them from just getting something done easily.
That's right.
Great people these days seem to be difficult to find. And there's a lot of average out there.
That's right.
I just want to collect a paycheck. Can't wait till Friday night.
It's just a job.
Going out on Friday, just job, and you got two different people just over broke, or they say, people are afraid to work hard, put the time in to create the dream that they want, the vision that they want, and they give up on those things. And most Americans in this country live paycheck to paycheck.
Right.
You don't have to do that here. I mean, you could literally work as much as you want, or you could raise kids and do this job.
Right. I think that's another good point that you brought up, because, some people ask us like, well, how do we, like in LC Financial Group, like how do people get their own leads? And obviously it's one of the most important parts of the business is generating leads and having leads for people you can call so you can do business. And when they come on our team, they have the option of doing their own outbound calls. We give them fresh leads that come from direct mail leads. Mm-hmm. Right? Or we can put them on transfer calls, put them on a seat. If they're willing to do 9 to 5 and be in the seat, then they'll just receive calls all day and just sign those people up. Right? So obviously, like, that's a big benefit to coming on board with us, is like, we'll take care of that aspect of your business. Cause obviously you're 1099, right? But I did want to ask you, what do you think about the guys that have been doing final expense for a while and they've thought about possibly coming over and doing some Medicare, and they're not sure? What kind of advantage do they have if they already have their own book of business? Like, what could they do?
Well, for me, unfortunately, I had to kind of start over on that. Like with my book of business, like I've had to just kind of start from zero, which is fine. You got to start somewhere. I've started over many times. It's not a problem for me because it's a short-term setback to have a long-term gain.
Right.
But what I would say to somebody who was able to keep their own book of business, or someone who, has the rights to, call people that they've once had a relationship with who would fit what they need, what they're offering, there's a huge opportunity in that, because if we could go backwards in time and I would have been able to keep my own book and I would have been able to, call my own clients and everything as much as I wanted, or have free-flowing communication with those people, then I would be able to call them all and every single one of them have Medicare.
Right.
It's a lot easier to look and see with all the carriers that we have, because we have basically all the major carriers. We really are just going to look and see which one's the best.
Yeah.
Which one gives you the most you can get with what you want specifically, and then give that to that person. Just help them have it.
Yeah, I love that you said that, because I think that's another thing. When I have brand new people that are interested in joining us, they ask me if they really need to have sales experience, and I tell them, honestly, you just have to have the ability to communicate with people, because if you can help educate the person on these services, right, then you're just helping them find the right fit. Because like you said at the beginning of our stream here, anyone that's 65 and older, like legally you have to have, Medicare, like you have to have that health insurance coverage. So when you have people that are, again, like what you said, being bombarded with communication all over the place, it's so important to know how to communicate properly and help them see, hey, look, I know you've been called 50 times today, but I just want to make sure you got, what you really need, and that you're not being offered something that you're not going to actually use, or that you're being taken advantage of. I know that many people are talking to you and trying to get you to buy stuff. Yeah. I just want to give you the facts and let you make up your mind. If you already have the best plan, fine. We don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
Have a great day, Mr. Jones. I'll follow up with you, make sure you have everything else that you need. But I think it's so important to know that what you're doing is you're helping people understand their situation, understand what they can do to improve that situation, right? Yeah. And you're just connecting them to the right source that's going to provide that for them. And
exactly. You nailed it. Like that's exactly correct. Like what we do is simply that, and you just have to repeat that many times. But there are some guys out there right now digging a hole somewhere, like for their job, or they're hanging from a telephone pole, or they're just doing there's all kinds of great jobs out there that you could go take advantage of. I mean, we hear that plumbers are doing really well today because nobody wants to do that job anymore. So you can make really good money as a plumber, or you can use your communication and you can help other people exactly with what you said. That's really the simplicity of it.
Yeah.
You've just nailed it down into like 60 seconds, like is exactly what any agent should be able to do or want to do. So that's the thing is that kind of in closing here pretty soon, you know, I just want to throw some key points out there.
Yeah.
You know, when you're talking to people, one thing I've noticed is like, are you being held in place where you're at? Are you being limited based on someone's opinion of you? Or are you being shown, hey, these are the numbers you need to hit. This is exactly what you need to do to move up to this next level and to grow perhaps as a person. One hidden benefit that I nearly forgot to mention was that, let's say you're not the best at communicating. You're a good person, you care, you want to give it a try. Like some of those people end up being the best because they care and they train, and they work on themselves, and they want to change their life. So they want to literally just step into bettering themselves.
Yeah.
When you better yourself in this business, you literally, when communication is probably the number one most important thing in the world, but not everyone's very good at it.
Yeah, that's true.
It helps you with your marriage. It helps you with your family. It helps you with people you don't know, with people that you do know. And so a hidden benefit that we probably don't talk about enough is that you get a lot better at those things in this business, and it reflects in all the other areas of your life.
That's a great point.
Or anywhere else that you go.
Yeah.
One more thing, when I got licensed, boom, hit with emails, phone calls. We have this job, this job, this job. I was like, man, I'm about to be a 1099. I do not make any salary. I don't get any life. I don't get any insurances. I don't get any benefits. It's just like,
it's all me.
It's all me. That's exactly right. But that being said, it's intimidating.
Yeah.
I'd never done that before. I'd always had a salary plus commission because I was willing to work hard. So the commission was work harder than everyone around you and be better and be more service oriented, solve people's problems. But if you come into this business, you get your skill increased, and let's say you don't like it here. Let's say you want to go somewhere else. You get to keep your book of business.
That's right.
You get to go wherever you want to go.
Yep.
And just be elsewhere.
Yeah.
And that's fine. There's a lot of opportunity in this business, even if it's not with us.
Yeah. We have an understanding, like here in LC Financial Group, that people have a right to do what they want to do. People have a right to grow into other places and other spaces, and that's how we came together. So we would never hold anybody back from wanting to grow, whether it's in the company or out of the company. You know, obviously we want to make it as, free flowing and exchanging with each other so that any growth that we see, we can do it together, right? From now into the future. However, if someone sees a better way to grow by not being in our company, we're not going to hold that against them.
Right.
Like you said, they're going to keep their book of business. They're going to have their leads. We're not going to hold that, against them or, wave it in their face that they can't have it. They worked hard to keep those clients. They deserve to keep those clients.
Right.
We got them to lead, fine, but we got our part.
Right.
They should be able to keep what they did. So we don't have a problem with that. I like that you mentioned communication because I agree. Like being in this space definitely develops your ability to communicate. And ultimately, if you can communicate well in something like this, in a job where your communication is your massive tool to success. Right. It does transcend and go into all parts of life, and it only improves and it only gets better. And I think that does wrap it up for us as far as today we're going to be doing these every Wednesday, just jumping on, talking about different things, and just potentially answering any questions people may have and giving them some more insight about what we do and how we do it here at LC Financial Group. And look forward to probably in about a month and a half, maybe 2 months, we're going to actually start doing think of it like a behind the scenes with LC Financial Group and with our CEO, Ryan Lodi himself. We're just going to unveil everything and how we do it because we believe everyone should have an opportunity at success and growth. And if they want to make their own team and have a successful team, then why not? Yeah. We can always back them up. So appreciate anyone that jumped on who is here. Appreciate Griffin for having me here on this stream. And I look forward to doing a lot more of these with you, as well as seeing your continual growth in our company and anyone else that comes on board. And gets to work with you is going to have a great executive to take care of him. Because that's the other thing is if you join our team, you get to work with Griffin. You get to have him train you. You get to have him take care of you so that you can take care of others in the future as well. And that's pretty much it for me. I don't have anything else to say. I don't know if you wanted to say any parting words.
No, that was perfect. Thank you so much for being here. We look forward to doing this more often. Please post comments down below. Hit me with messages if you have questions. I'd be more than happy to answer questions. And then if you have a suggestion for what we should talk about in the near future, let us know. We'd love to cover that topic.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. And you guys have a great rest of your day and be great.
See ya.